They called me confused. Not to my face, but I heard it in their voices when they spoke to me, slowly, loudly, like I was a child who couldn't understand simple concepts. I was 72 years old, sitting in the hospital bed, wearing my gray cardigan over a light blue shirt, my thin white hair probably a mess from lying down, and I watched them talk about me like I wasn't there. The young doctor, the nurses, even my own daughter, standing by the window with that worried expression she'd been wearing for weeks. They all thought I was losing it, getting old, getting confused. My body was frail, yes. My hands trembled when I tried to hold a cup. My legs weren't strong anymore. But my mind was as sharp as it had ever been. They just didn't want to believe it, and I hadn't had the energy to prove it to them. Until now. I'd been in the hospital for 3 days. A fall at home, they said. My daughter found me on the kitchen floor and panicked, called 911, and here I was. The doctors ran tests, scans, blood work. Everything came back mostly normal for a man my age, but they kept asking me the same questions over and over. Do you know where you are? Do you know what day it is? Can you tell me who the president is? I answered every time, patiently, clearly, but I could see the doubt in their eyes, the way they exchanged glances with each other, the way they wrote things in my chart that I wasn't allowed to see. They had already decided I was confused, and once doctors decide something, it's hard to change their minds. My daughter, Sarah, meant well. She really did, but she'd been treating me differently for months now. Ever since her mother died 2 years ago, Sarah had been watching me like I was a bomb about to go off, checking in constantly, asking if I'd taken my medications, suggesting maybe I shouldn't live alone anymore. And after this fall, she'd ramped it up. Dad, maybe it's time to consider assisted living, she'd said yesterday. Somewhere with people who can help you, keep you safe. I'd told her I was fine, that I'd just slipped, that it could happen to anyone, but she didn't believe me. She believed the doctors, and the doctors believed I was confused. The young doctor came in this morning for rounds. Dr. Patterson, maybe 30 years old, fresh-faced and confident in the way young doctors are when they think they know everything. "Good morning, Mr. Henderson. How are we feeling today?" We, like I was part of some collective that included him. I told him I was fine. He nodded without really listening. "Your vitals look stable. We're still waiting on a few test results. In the meantime, we want to keep you for observation." Observation. That's what they called it when they didn't trust you to take care of yourself. "I'd like to go home," I said clearly. My voice was weaker than it used to be, but it was steady. Dr. Patterson smiled, that patronizing smile young people give old people. "I understand, but we need to make sure you're safe. Your daughter mentioned you've been having some memory issues at home." I looked at Sarah. She had the decency to look embarrassed, but she didn't deny it. "I haven't been having memory issues. I'm 72, not senile." Dr. Patterson's smile didn't waver. "Of course not, but at your age, it's normal to have some cognitive changes. Nothing to be ashamed of." He started explaining their plan. More tests, cognitive assessments, maybe a referral to a neurologist, possibly occupational therapy to help with activities of daily living. Each word felt like another nail in the coffin of my independence. I could see where this was going. They were building a case to declare me incompetent, to take away my ability to make my own decisions. Sarah would get power of attorney. I'd end up in some facility where people talked to me like I was confused, where I'd spend my final years being treated like a child, and all because I'd slipped on a wet kitchen floor. "There's also the matter of your medications," Dr. Patterson continued, scrolling through his tablet. "Your daughter mentioned you sometimes forget to take them." I felt something tightened in my chest. Not pain, frustration. "I don't forget," I said. "I choose not to take some of them because the side effects are worse than the conditions they're treating." He looked up from his tablet, surprised I'd pushed back. "Mr. Henderson, these medications are prescribed for a reason. It's important you follow the regimen." I met his eyes. "It's important I maintain quality of life, which matters more at 72 than adding 6 months of misery." Sarah stepped forward. "Dad, you need to listen to the doctor." Her voice was gentle but firm, the voice she used with her own children when they were being difficult. I looked at her, my only daughter, the little girl I'd raised, and I felt a wave of sadness. When had I become the child and she become the parent? When had my opinions stopped mattering? "I am listening," I said quietly, but listening doesn't mean agreeing. Dr. Patterson cleared his throat, uncomfortable now. "Mr. Henderson, I understand this is difficult, but we're trying to help you." He kept talking about my fall, about safety concerns, about age-appropriate care. And I sat there in my hospital bed, my frail body probably looking exactly like what they expected, an old man who couldn't take care of himself. But while he talked, I was thinking, calculating, remembering, because there was something they'd missed, something important, and I was waiting for the right moment to say it. Dr. Patterson was explaining something about balance issues in elderly patients when I finally interrupted him. "Doctor," I said quietly. He stopped mid-sentence, looking mildly annoyed at the interruption. "Yes?" I kept my voice calm, measured. "You said my fall was likely due to age-related balance issues and possibly cognitive decline affecting spatial awareness." He nodded, pleased I'd been paying attention. "Yes, that's correct." I adjusted my position in the bed, my gray cardigan shifting around my shoulders, then explained to me why there was cooking oil on the kitchen floor. The room went very quiet. Dr. Patterson blinked. "I'm sorry?" I repeated it slower this time. There was cooking oil on the floor. I'd been making dinner. The cooking oil bottle cap wasn't on properly. It leaked. I stepped in it and slipped. Dr. Patterson stared at me. Sarah's expression changed, uncertainty creeping in. I continued, my voice stronger now. "I told the EMTs this when they arrived. I told the ER doctor. I told every nurse who asked. It's in my initial intake notes if you actually read them instead of skimming for keywords that confirm your assumptions." I watched him scroll frantically through his tablet. His confident expression was cracking. "I also told them exactly what time I fell, 3:47 p.m., because I looked at the kitchen clock right before I went down. I told them what I'd been cooking, chicken piccata, my wife's recipe. I told them my daughter's phone number from memory, my address, my insurance information, my medication list, including dosages and times." Dr. Patterson had found something in the notes. His face was changing color slightly. I wasn't finished. "I can also tell you that you're not Dr. Patterson, you're Dr. Peterson. Patterson is the cardiologist on the 4th floor. You introduced yourself incorrectly yesterday and no one corrected you, so I assumed it was a mistake you'd catch yourself. You didn't." The room was completely silent now, except for the beeping of my heart monitor. Sarah was staring at me with her mouth slightly open. "I can tell you that Nurse Jennifer is left-handed, that Nurse Marcus is studying for his RN certification, and that the night shift nurse, whose name I didn't catch, is pregnant and due in November based on how she mentioned her 3rd trimester. I looked directly at Dr. Peterson. "I can recite the entire conversation you had outside my door yesterday with your attending physician about my case, including the part where you said I was a classic presentation of dementia, even though you'd spent less than 5 minutes actually talking to me." His tablet nearly slipped from his hands. Sarah moved closer to my bed. "Dad, you heard all that?" I nodded. "I hear everything. I remember everything. Just because I'm old and my body is failing doesn't mean my mind is gone." Dr. Peterson had gone very quiet. He looked at my chart again, really reading it this time. "Mr. Henderson, I apologize. You're right. The initial notes do mention cooking oil. I should have read more carefully." I kept my voice level. "You should have listened more carefully. I told you 3 times in this conversation that I was fine, that I knew what happened, that I didn't want to be here. You didn't hear me because you'd already decided what kind of patient I was." He looked genuinely uncomfortable now, maybe even ashamed. "I'm sorry," he said again, quieter this time. I turned to Sarah. "And you, when did you decide I couldn't take care of myself?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Dad, I'm scared. Mom died, and now you're alone, and I worry." I cut her off gently. I know you worry, but worry doesn't give you the right to treat me like I'm incompetent. I slipped on oil. That's not dementia. That's not confusion. That's an accident that could happen to anyone at any age. She wiped her eyes. But you've seemed different lately. Quieter, more withdrawn. I nodded. Because I'm grieving. Your mother was my partner for 47 years. Being sad isn't the same as being confused. Dr. Peterson was reviewing my chart thoroughly now. After a long moment, he looked up. Mr. Henderson, you're right. Your cognitive function is clearly intact. I made assumptions based on your age and the circumstances of your admission without properly evaluating you as an individual. He paused. The fall appears to have been accidental with no underlying medical cause. Your scans are clear. Your blood work is normal for your age. There's no medical reason to keep you here. Relief flooded through me. So I can go home? He nodded. Yes, with the understanding that you'll follow up with your primary care physician and take basic safety precautions. Sarah was crying now, but different tears. Dad, I'm so sorry. I was so scared when I found you on the floor. I thought I was losing you too. I reached out my trembling hand and she took it. You're not losing me. I'm still here, still sharp, just older and slower. She laughed through her tears. Clearly still sharp. You just schooled a doctor half your age. I smiled. Someone needed to remind him that old doesn't mean stupid. Dr. Peterson had the grace to look sheepish. Lesson learned, Mr. Henderson, and truly, I apologize. The discharge process took a few hours. Sarah drove me home, quieter than usual, probably replaying our conversation in her head. When we got to my house, the house I'd lived in for 35 years, the house I'd raised her in, the house I'd shared with her mother, she helped me inside, even though I didn't really need help. Dad, Sarah said as I settled into my favorite chair. Yes? She sat down across from me. I've been treating you wrong, haven't I? I considered lying to make her feel better, but she deserved the truth. A little, but I understand why. You're scared. Loss makes us want to control what we can, but you can't protect me from being old. She nodded slowly. What do you need from me, really? I thought about it. Trust. Check in on me because you want to see me, not because you're monitoring me. Ask my opinion instead of assuming I don't have one. Let me make my own choices, even if you don't agree with them. And if the day comes when I really am confused, when I really do need help, I trust you to know the difference between that and me just being old and tired. She promised she would, and I believed her. Word got around the hospital, apparently. A week later, I got a call from Dr. Peterson. Mr. Henderson, I wanted to follow up and apologize again. Also to let you know I shared your case, with your permission, at our department meeting, as an example of confirmation bias and the importance of actually listening to patients. I told him that was fine. He continued, You taught me something important. I won't forget it. I appreciated that. Maybe some good would come from it. Sarah and I developed a new routine. She visited twice a week, not to check on me, but to spend time together. We talked about her mother, shared memories, sometimes cried together. She asked about my day and actually listened to the answers. She stopped suggesting assisted living. She stopped treating every stumble or forgotten word like a sign of decline. And I made an effort too. Put a mat down in the kitchen, cleaned up spills immediately, didn't pretend I was stronger than I was. We met each other halfway. I'm still 72, still frail, still slow. My hands still tremble, my legs still aren't what they were, but my mind is sharp. I read the newspaper every morning. I do crossword puzzles. I remember my granddaughter's recitals and my grandson's baseball games. I manage my own finances, make my own appointments, decide my own schedule. I'm not confused. I'm not declining. I'm just old. And there's a difference that matters. They don't call me confused anymore. At least Sarah doesn't. The hospital experience taught both of us something. Her, that aging parents aren't broken children. Me, that sometimes you have to speak up, even when your voice shakes, even when people have already decided who you are. Because the alternative, letting others write your story, define your capabilities, determine your future, that's worse than any fall. I'm still here, still me,
still capable of surprise, and that doctor, he stopped mid-sentence because he finally heard what I'd been saying all along. I'm old, yes, but I'm not gone. Not yet.